What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Figuring It Out Finance podcast, where I, Chris Rickenbaugh, am documenting my journey in real estate and business while also talking about travel hacking and personal finance. This is episode number 64, and we're going to be covering The Dip by Seth Godin in this week's book of the week. Before we hop into that, though, let's go ahead and follow me on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Go check out figuringitoutfinance.com, where you have access to all the podcasts and you can stay up to date on everything that I'm doing. So a super busy day for me, a tax meeting in the morning, running around checking on flip number 2 and getting quotes for flip number 3 that we currently have under contract. Currently working on the financing for that. So a super busy day on my side, and it's not over yet, because as soon as I'm off this, I'll be on another funding call. So lots of things going on. Super exciting, though, just trying to get the groundwork or the ground laid out so that we're able to move on this 56 property portfolio that we're planning on. So super exciting stuff. But what is The Dip? The Dip by Seth Godin is a super short book. It's under 80 pages, super short to read, and it's really simple to understand, because a lot of people, when they start businesses, they get started, they get going, they have a little bit of momentum, and then they hit this stalling out period, which is called the dip. So what Seth Godin talks about and defining it is, the dip is the long stretch between beginner's luck and real accomplishment. So if something's worth doing, there's probably a dip to it. So that's starting your own business. For me, that is real estate. So real estate, it's really fun to get into. You're really excited right off the bat. Maybe you have a little bit of savings to fall back on, and then you get started. So that's where it really starts. So say you got your 1 or 2 flips down, and now you're trying to move into your next one. Sometimes it's hard to move into that next one if you don't have that deal flow coming along. So that is called the dip. You're looking for all of these opportunities. Nothing's coming up. You're wondering, oh, should I go back to that job? But the dip, you should stay in it, because the reason we're here is to solve hard problems. And something that's that piggybacks onto that is, for me, real estate is a hard problem to solve. So if you're starting a business, you need to be able to base it on a hard problem. You need to be solving expensive problems. And that was something that I got out of my conversation with Brian Lubin when I got on with him. He said, if you're starting a business, you got to be solving an expensive problem to people that have money to be able to pay for it. So that's why finance in real estate is very expensive. So to give a little bit more on that, I worked at a startup company that sold some pins and stickers. So the stickers maybe cost a couple cents, and the keychains maybe a couple dollars, like $3-4. So in my business, and if I'm starting a business, do I want to be starting or solving a $3 to $4 problem or a couple cent problem of a sticker? And that's where people think, oh, well, I need to be selling merchandise like t-shirts. So do I really want to be solving a $20 to $30 problem? Because you're going to have to sell a lot of those items to be able to make a living for yourself and make a profit. So real estate, in my market, you're probably solving a $200,000 to a $300,000 problem, and you're solving it. So, would you rather be solving a $3 to $4 problem, or would you be solving a $300,000 problem? So that's why real estate makes a lot more money. And then you get into buying businesses and businesses that cost a lot more money that are solving those bigger problems. And that is where the money is to be made. So helping people get out of their jobs, solving financial problems, that is where the money is to be made, because you're solving a bigger problem. So that is the reason we're here, is to solve those hard problems. And if you're going after something like financial freedom, there's probably a dip to it. So, and the dip, if you think about it, say it's getting better financial footing. You could start your Dave Ramsey process and your baby steps, and it's probably going to suck at first. And you might be really excited, you're going in the right direction, and then there's this long road ahead of you. So you're going to feel like quitting, you're going to feel like spending that money, and it's just a really, really long road, and that will be the dip. After you get over that first excitement hump, you land in the dip. So once you keep pushing forward, maybe a couple years down the road, you actually start to see the benefits from all of that saving and all of that investing, and that's where you get out of the dip. But you have to be able to see it through. And that's where Seth Godin kind of goes into quitting. So quitting, winners quit all the time. They just quit the right stuff at the right time. So if you want to be number one in something, then you probably need to quit everything else to go be the best at that thing. So let's dive into that. So winners quit all the time. So an extreme example of this, if Tom Brady was playing 2 to 3 different sports in high school and he decided to keep playing those sports into college, he would probably be very, very average at all of them. So he decided to quit those other sports to be the best at football. And it turned out to be a good bet. So there was probably a dip in there to where he's like, okay, is this the right move? Is this the right thing that I should be doing? And then he had to go and quit those other things that were proving to be a distraction and go be the best at football. So that's where it says if you want to be number one in something, then you probably need to quit everything else to go be the best at that thing. So tying this back into business, if I want to be the best in real estate in my market, then I need to be all in on real estate. I can't be dabbling in these other little, low dollar problems like getting an online job, go doing a 9-to-5 job, because that's going to take me away from that real estate. And it's going to be so much harder to be able to get out of the dip when my mind and my time has been taken away from me. So I need to be able to quit those things to go all in on real estate. So I had a little bit of savings from the house, and so then I went full in. It took a little bit at first, just calling and, all those crazy thoughts go into your head. It's like, well, should I quit? Should I look at jobs? I was looking at something that I thought would be pretty easy, like coding, maybe making like $12 an hour. And I'm like, why am I doing this? It's like, if I go buy and sell a house, I could make $20,000, and that's going to be worth a lot more to me than $12 an hour for maybe 10 to 20 hours a week. It's like, it just didn't make sense. So I quit trying on all those other things, and I went full into real estate. I got my first flip, which rolled into my second flip, and now I'm on my third, and I've met partners and different people to be able to help that business grow to where now we're getting everything set up to tackle a 56 property portfolio. So that's really, really cool, but I had to quit those other little things to be able to go have my full attention on real estate. So quitting is usually a short-term decision, and a bad one, according to Seth Godin. And the quote is, short-term pain has more impact on most people than long-term benefits do. So I'm going to stop right there, and then I'm going to say the rest of the quote. So short-term pain has more impact on most people than long-term benefits do. So that short-term pain is something that hits you like your emotions, and that emotion drives that decision. So that's why I always try and wait to make a total decision, because my emotions are going to run wild. So I basically just have to chill out and wait to be able to make a final decision on bigger things. So the short-term pain equals the long-term gain. So you have to get over that short-term pain, which is the dip. And then to be able to enjoy the long-term benefits, you have to have that vision and understand it's going to be like a roller coaster in between, and there's going to be good and bad times, but you have to be able to get through that short-term pain. And that's why it's so important for you to amplify the long-term benefits of not quitting, because you need to be able to have that long-term vision of what you're working for and understand it's going to be tough. That's what I'm in right now. 3 flips under, or getting under 3 flips in 5 months. That's more than I thought I was going to take on at this time in my in my life, and it's only September. So the flip number 2 is going to be done at the end of the month. We're going to get that up and on the market, and then by the end of this month, by next Thursday, actually, we'll figure out and see if we have the flip number 3, if we assign that contract, or if we end up finding the funding to be able to flip it ourselves. So, just an emotional roller coaster. So just understanding that this short-term pain and emotions, it's a part of the game. And to be able to get through it and enjoy that other side, you have to be in a community with people that are going through the same thing, which is why I joined Deal Flow and Cam Cathcarts, because I really, I really felt his story, maybe definitely not on the level that he was at, and the debt and his daughter getting sick and having that huge hospital bill. I'm not at that level, but I understand what do we have to lose at this point? It's like, I'm young. I can always dig myself back out. I'd rather not dig myself out, but I'd rather go through this short-term pain in the beginning to be able to enjoy those long-term benefits. Because I want to be able to go out and live in Hawaii, and I can't aim low. I can't have a normal 9-to-5 job that's going to let me be able to do that. So I understand the short-term pain, and I have to quit all the other little things that are distracting me from going after this goal. So that is a large summary of The Dip by Seth Godin. And like I said, it's a super short book, under 80 pages. It could be a quick read in a day, maybe over a weekend, but it explains things in a different way than just, short-term pain equals long-term gain. It really breaks it down. It talks about the cul-de-sac, to where people get into working and they just feel like they're going around and around and around and not going anywhere, and how to get out of that. So it's a big mindset play. And if you're in business or stuck anywhere in life, I highly recommend the book. And I really got a lot out of it. It wasn't a huge, highlight every page book, but there were little quotes and nuggets in there that I think people will like. So this is Chris Rickenbaugh signing off for the Figuring It Out Finance podcast. I'll be back on Friday with either a flip update or something else. I'm not sure yet. So thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you on Friday.